the biggest entrepreneur platform on the planet. This is Business Rockstars.
This is Business Rockstars. I'm Brittany Whitney, and my guest today is Tom Ashley, CEO of Invincible Entertainment. Tom, thanks so much for joining us today. So for those who are not familiar with Invincible Entertainment, tell us about the company.
Yeah, so Invincible is a media, entertainment, and technology company. We started out in film and television distribution, and about 10 years ago, kind of dove feet first into streaming technology, SVOD services, transactional VOD services, and now fast linear networks.
Tell us about some of the amazing content that Invincible has.
Invincible has a very diverse catalog. We have over 10,000 hours of content spanning multiple genres and categories, feature film, television, episodic. We have a really strong animation catalog, including titles like Sonic the Hedgehog, Kong, Highlander. We have some really great business content, including Business Rockstars, and everything in between. Really, we kind of have, like I said, it's a very diverse catalog with lots of great stuff.
So take me back to the early days when Invincible kind of was first starting out. What was that like?
Invincible was really brought to life by our production business. So in the early days, Invincible was primarily a commercial and music video production house. And we were brought on to work on a feature film. And that film ended up having a really hard time finding distribution. And the producers asked us if we could help, just because we had such, extensive experience working in, very large advertising campaigns, very large multinational television commercial production. So they knew that we had a lot of connections and could really maybe help increase the profile of this particular film. And we kind of just said, sure, let's give it a try. So we reached out to a couple of friends. We were introduced to a theater booker who was able to get the film in I think about 400 screens at the time. And we kind of turned this small independent project into a huge hit. And next thing you knew, like every producer that had a wayward film kind of found their way to us and was like, hey, can you help us, get this film and help us find an audience? And really Invincible's distribution business was built from there. And wouldn't you know that that became, our core business. Fast forward, about a decade from there, when DVD and Blu-ray really kind of dove and streaming took off, a lot of our business was based on DVD and Blu-ray. And so we realized at that time that we really needed to find a way to directly reach our viewers and our audience and have more of a direct relationship with, fans of our content. So we started building out our first streaming services from there. And we were actually the first company to stream movies on iPhone that wasn't part of the iTunes program before there was Netflix or anything like that. We were doing that. So, definitely an early adopter, early developer, and kind of first starter in streaming technology.
That's amazing. So I'm sure, you've been in this business a very long time. What were some of the main growing points that you kind of experienced, and how did you pivot and overcome them?
So a lot of our growth just came from having a really good reputation. In this business, reputation means a lot. So our ability to find good distribution for a film, being able to monetize that film, being able to generate good revenue for that film, and that reputation spread to our producing partners and really helped drive and bring in bigger and better projects that we were then able to expand and do even more distribution with. So, fast forward to today, we have relationships with pretty much every major streaming company in the world, along with, top retailers for DVD and Blu-ray. And yes, people still do buy DVD and Blu-ray, although not quite as much as they used to. And as well as like cable companies, telco, broadcast networks, where we distribute content into every vertical that there is at this point.
It seems like Invincible has been making a number of acquisitions lately, which is so exciting,
Yep.
Including business Rockstars. So tell us about those exciting new deals.
Yeah, so we acquired Business Rockstars in November of 2020, and we had been working obviously with the company for a number of years, and helping them build their distribution and just increase the profile of the network. We built their linear network, and now it was just a natural fit because we were already kind of helping the business grow. And it really kind of fit our portfolio. And obviously today we've grown the distribution quite a bit. The channel has really, reaches over 500,000 unique viewers every day. And those numbers are continuing to grow. So it was a really good fit for our business model and what we're doing in fast channels and network television distribution. Post our Business Rockstars acquisition, Invincible has a number of other strategic acquisitions that we're looking towards that will probably close in the first half of 2022. That will really accelerate our growth and also our ability to bring more of our great content to viewers directly. So we're really looking forward to moving some of those initiatives forward.
And speaking of growth, Invincible launched a really cool crowdfunding campaign. Tell us, what was the motivation behind launching that, and how can people invest?
Yeah, sure. So Invincible's been profitable for over the past 5 years now, and we've been experiencing year-over-year growth, and we have a lot of opportunities to really accelerate that growth. And we were looking to bring in some strategic investment to help us kind of kickstart it. And there's two basic ways we could do it. You could go into the private equity markets, or you can do kind of crowdsourced. And we really felt that the crowdsourced model worked for us because we really felt that the investors that would be doing that would also be kind of cheerleaders for our business, that would help spread the word about different initiatives we have, new content, new movies. And as we give our investors updates and kind of let them know about all these cool new things that we're doing, they would then reach out to their network. So we felt by having more investors rather than one or two more institutional type investors, and there's more value basically than having hundreds of smaller investors and one or two bigger ones. So we tried to take that path. And so far it's been going really well. So anyone that's interested in investing can just go to wefunder.com and look up Invincible Entertainment Partners and learn more about the business from there.
So where did the name Invincible come from?
Yeah, so it's funny, when we were getting into doing film distribution, I was meeting with some friends of mine out in LA, and I was telling them, hey, we just kind of released this film, and we're getting this onslaught of requests from these producers that want us to help them get their film out. And the first kind of thing they said to me was like, "You're out of your mind. You've got to be invincible to be in that business." And I was like, "You're right. I do have to be invincible to be in this business." And that's kind of where the name started out from. And I realized over the years that the name's really changed from being more of that, like, I'm kind of indestructible, to more of the invincible spirit that we all have when we go to create things. So it's the spirit that every entrepreneur has when they have an idea that they want to see to fruition, that they want to build something, they want to create something, they want to make the world a little bit better. So it's really not the things that can't break. It's really not the things that make you Superman, but more about the passion and the spirit behind the things that drive you to do what you do. So that's really what Invincible means for us and our company.
I love that. And obviously, some days as an entrepreneur, most days as an entrepreneur, you don't feel invincible and you don't feel resilient. So tell us about kind of your personal journey, running a business and kind of dealing with struggles along the way and how you kind of overcome those struggles.
Yeah, it's been a long road. I'm lucky that I really am passionate about what I do. I'm not a tourist in this business. It's something that I've always wanted to do, and something that I've always done. I've been working in some degree in film and television since I was 13 years old, when I was on my first set, which was a Chevy Cavalier commercial. I've worked in the art department as a production designer, as a producer, as a director, and as a business owner. And, all I've ever wanted to do is create great content and bring it to audiences. So I'm very blessed to really love what I do. But speaking more directly about, struggles, I mean, you will have struggles. I mean, when you're trying to build a business, life beyond that goal doesn't stop. So your marriage, your health, 9 years ago, I was diagnosed with cancer. It's been, an ongoing challenge in my life. And, when you're dealing with that and raising having a family and raising a child, those things don't stop, right? So your business is your child, right? That's something else that you're trying to grow and nurture, and your family and your relationships, and then your health. It can be difficult to kind of maintain balance on all of that. And, in my journey with cancer, it was kind of a blessing and a curse. Like, no one wants to get cancer. No one wants to get sick or deal with any kind of, of illness like that. But for me, it was a really great, revelation. It really helped me kind of reset and focus on what was important. And because really quickly, when you're kind of dealing with those things, you really realize what you want to focus on, what you want to do, and what you don't want to do. And luckily for me, like I love what I do, and so I found a lot of solace in my work. So when I was really stressed out about the issues with my health and the treatment and all the things that went along with that, being able to focus my attention on my work really helped me kind of, stay focused and stay driven, and not focus on, the things that, weren't very pleasant. And, of course, my family was a big help as well, being able to do things with my son and focusing on things with him and my wife as well. So, it just, you realize very quickly you do what you do in life, and that's all you get. So you better make sure that what you're doing every day is something you really love and you're passionate about. And for me, it was really a validator that I was on the right path, because that was something I really wanted to keep doing.
And it's such a motivational story, and I think too that it kind of speaks to the company that you grew as a whole. Because, you are resilient, and Invincible, also has amazing stories that you're sharing with the world. Yeah. So it's a really nice, journey that you've kind of made for yourself. And also shows that, you didn't stop your business when things got tough, and that you kind of persevered and kept going. So tell us a little bit also about work-life balance. And, you said it kind of forced you to slow down a little bit. And what tips do you have for those entrepreneurs who are always in that hustle mindset where they don't stop?
Yeah, so I don't know that I slowed down a whole lot. I mean, there were certainly days where I had to slow down because my body just wasn't going to let me do much else. But I just kept going. What I did learn was to focus on the things that were important, right? And it really enabled me to cut through the noise, because in business and everything else, there's a lot of noise. You're getting hit from all angles, from all these opportunities, all these things. There's always some kind of deal, always some kind of thing that you can be doing. And what it really helped me do was cut through that noise and that clutter to stay focused on what my end game was, right? So I need to get from point A to point B. How do I get there and navigate all this stuff? So it really helped cut that stuff out, and you're kind of like, okay, I don't need this, I don't need that. I kind of mentioned earlier, it becomes a lot easier to say no, when you're focused on that. But also, I think a lot of entrepreneurs, fall into the trap, like, I just need to work and work and work and just grinding. And what I found was, and I was very much that way, and I still am to a degree, but what I learned was you also need to take a step back. It is about perspective. And sometimes when you're knee deep in it, you're not getting that perspective. So that time that you step away from your business and you refocus on your family or your loved ones, or a hobby or a sport, or whatever your thing may be, that's your time to kind of refocus on you and leverage, a better perspective, and look at, like, okay, when you're not in it, you can see things from a broader view, and maybe realize that you're going off target a little bit. So your ability to step back away from the business is really important, and really that was something that I was able to get from the experiences that I had. And even though I don't have those problems now, the lessons I learned from that were very helpful.
So I kind of want to transition into the amazing documentary that Invincible put out, Hell or High Seas.
Yeah.
When I was watching it, I was on the edge of my seat, just like totally captivated. So tell us about Hell or High Seas.
Yeah, so Hell or High Seas is really an amazing film with an amazing message. So the film kind of brings to light the difficulties that our veterans have, transitioning into civilian life after being deployed. It deals directly with the issue of veteran suicide and PTSD, and it absolutely validates the benefits of adventure therapy and the voyage that these veterans go through as they kind of navigate into a life outside of the military. These guys they're used to a very rigid, busy schedule. They're go all the time, and all of a sudden they come back and they're like, now what? And they've been exposed to some very difficult things, and not, it's not just veterans who have seen the battlefield or have been experiencing firefights. It's even the support teams and everything else who have a very difficult time transitioning. So it's a very powerful film. It follows a Navy veteran who's a rescue swimmer, Taylor Greiger, and his journey to kind of overcome his issues with PTSD after returning to civilian life. And he basically sold everything he had, got a sailboat, sailed from the panhandle of Florida all the way down through the Panama Canal to around Cape Horn, which is an 11,000-mile journey. And he really kind of rediscovered himself, and it had a very powerful message along the way. So we're very proud of that film. It's done amazing. It was #1 documentary on Apple. It was on the short list for the Academy Awards for Best Documentary. So we really couldn't be more excited about that project. And it was it was actually our first theatrical film post-COVID. So it's a really great way to jump back into, to bring audiences together again in the theater for a good cause. So we're really, really proud of that.
Yeah, for those in the audience, if you have not seen it, I highly recommend it. There's so much going on with the fast-changing landscape of media, from traditional to broadcast to streaming to fast channel, like you said. Where does Invincible fit in with this new modern media ecosystem?
Yeah, so I mean, Invincible really is at the forefront of what the future of television will be. Traditional TV and the way it's been for decades and decades is, you call your cable provider or your satellite provider, they put a box in your house and it's got all your channels in it, and you're kind of limited to whatever your cable provider offers. And of course, you can go online and watch YouTube, but it's not the same kind of experience. So really the future of television is going to be these fast networks and these fast channels, and fast really just stands for free ad-supported streaming television. And but it's delivered in a completely unique way, very niche, and it really enables a lot of other programmers to create linear networks and channels outside of the traditional big cable networks and television networks that you might be used to. So there's a lot more niche channels, there's a lot more special interest channels, there's a lot more content that you would probably never see on a broadcast network that are being brought into this world. And access is so much easier. So basically any any device that has an internet connection is capable of displaying these. And most of these channels now are built into your TV set. So if you've got an LG or a Samsung or a Vizio TV, there's apps where you can access these fast channels and just kind of channel surf and watch some really, really amazing content. So it really opens up an entire world of content and television and a television experience that just is far better than what anyone has ever known before. So we're really excited about that. We're really bullish on that. We've been making a lot of investment, not only financially, but in technology to support these services for, over the past 3 years. And today we have over 16 linear fast networks that we own and operate and distribute all over the place. So we're really excited about that.
And if someone's listening to this and they're like, wow, I really want to start doing what Invincible does, but this is all just going over my head. Like they don't know where to start. What would you recommend?
You mean for someone who wants to start a linear network?
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's say that you're a content provider. You specialize in great content around automotive or classic cars, and you just don't know how to do it. So there's a number of companies out there like Invincible. Obviously we want you to reach out to us, but we could help you take that content and stand it up and put it into a linear network, and then help you distribute that network to the various destinations where people would go to watch it. So Invincible owns its own fast channel streaming service called Galxy. And so we could obviously launch it there, but we also make these channels available to every other third party out there. We've been working on this technology now for over 3 years. So everything from program scheduling, distribution, ad insertion and delivery, and ad sales and demand is really top notch. So I'm really bullish on this part of our business, and really think that it's gonna be a game changer for the company.
Speaking of Galxy TV, tell us about the Galxy TV platform and how people can watch.
Yeah, so Galxy is a streaming system that allows our users to access free linear television. So we have multiple channels there crossing multiple genres, where people can go and watch TV for free. It also has a number of subscription options. So if you wanted to get like that ad-free experience and watch the content without interruption, you can subscribe for a low monthly fee. So there's multiple subscriptions in there. So if you're just like into horror, you can just want to watch it scream, you can just subscribe to that. If you want to just experience like the animation, then you can just subscribe to that little package too. And then of course we have like a all you can eat package you can subscribe to. But yeah, so Galxy has over 50 channels now spanning horror, Spanish language, music, feature film, television that you can watch, and we're adding new channels to it all the time. So it's a really great platform. It's available on your mobile device. It's available on your PC and smart TVs as well.
Absolutely. I want to talk a little bit about you as an entrepreneur. Do you have like a toolbox? It could be an app that you use, or meditation, or just a daily practice or habit that you think attributes to your success?
I think the one thing that I work on all the time is just my ability to listen. I think that no matter what situation you find yourself in, whether it's your personal life, your professional life, your business, when you're working with your partners and you're developing relationships with new partners, it's really important to listen to what their needs are, to understand what their needs are, and that will really help you determine if that partnership or relationship is a good fit, right? Because you know your business really well, but you might not know the other person's business really well. So I tend to ask a lot of questions and really listen to what they're saying, and really try to understand the circumstances around me, so that will help me make better decisions in business. So I would say the number one thing I really focus on is just my ability to listen to our partners and understand what we're trying to do and what we're trying to accomplish, and making sure that it's always a good mesh. And that helps obviously in business relationships and sales, and in my personal relationships as well.
And I can attest, you are a great listener.
Thanks.
So if you could go back in time, 10, 15 years ago, what's one piece of advice, or if you have like a top 3 pieces of advice that you would tell yourself?
Well, I would say, don't try to rush too fast. I would say, take a beat before you make decisions. Make sure you really truly understand what it is that you're about to do, and make sure that that's and understand what the potential outcomes are. A lot of times you think things are a good idea and they would make sense in the moment, but really don't work to your end game or your end strategic outline. I would learn how to say no more. Certainly, I've always tended to be a bit of a pleaser, so I've always trying to, yeah, we can do that, we can do that, we can do that. And while that might be true, saying yes to everything really, doesn't help you be successful at the things you are doing. So again, it's just about, it kind of goes along with that listening. So it's about listening to yourself, knowing what your capabilities are. And yes, you can do that, but everybody has a limit on their bandwidth, and does what you're taking on end up benefiting what your long-term strategic goals are. So certainly I would learn how to say no when it's appropriate. And yeah.
So what excites you the most about the future of Invincible Entertainment, and where do you see Invincible in the next 5 or 10 years?
Ever since I was a kid, I loved what entertainment can do, because when you had a bad day, or you're listening to your parents fight, or you're in a situation that you're not so happy about, going and watching a great movie is a great way to escape, and you kind of come out feeling refreshed and you're able to reset and get a new perspective on things. And I loved how entertainment had the power to do that. When you don't have any other resources or any other help, entertainment is a great way to kind of do that. And so that's what always inspired me to want to get into the field, the idea that I could create something to help make somebody happy, or evoke that human response. And so I love what I do. I love that I'm able to bring great entertainment to people all over the globe, and help fulfill the dreams and passions of filmmakers, and bringing their great content to audiences all over the place. And I think, my goal is to continue doing that in even bigger and better ways in the future. So, obviously, our fast linear networks are a big part of our strategic growth. Our streaming service, the Galxy platform, I really want to see that become a ubiquitous home for people to go and find great content. So yeah, I think just taking what we're doing and just constantly bringing it up and bringing it up and bringing it up and finding bigger and bigger audiences.
So Tom, where can people learn more about Invincible Entertainment?
Yeah, sure. So they can go to our website, invincibleent.com. And, there's a lot of information there about, the various business verticals and the content that we have. And then you can learn a lot about our business by watching some of our great, movies and TV.
Okay, well, Tom Ashley, CEO of Invincible Entertainment, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks so much for having me, Brittany. It's great talking to you.